Welcome to Wall Street Insights. Today, we're putting Fox Corporation on the operating table for a full corporate health checkup. Our diagnostic tool, their brand new 2025 annual report, which really gets into the details of the company's performance for the fiscal year that just ended on June 30th. So before we really get into it, what are we looking at? We're going straight to the source, the company's Form 10-K. You can think of this as management's official, detailed report card to its investors. It covers their operations, the audited financials, and what's really interesting to us, their take on the big risks they see on the horizon. All right, just a quick but necessary heads up before we proceed. This entire analysis is for informational purposes only, and it's all based on public documents. It is absolutely not financial advice. And remember, whenever we talk about what might happen in the future, those are forward-looking statements, and by their very nature, they always come with risks. Okay, here's our game plan for this corporate checkup. We'll decode their blueprint, look at their competitive DNA, take their financial polls, see what risks they're navigating, and then dive into their strategy and governance. Then we'll wrap it up with a final verdict. Let's get started. First up, let's decode the corporate blueprint. You know, to really understand the Fox Corporation of today, you have to go back to that big 2019 spinoff from 21st Century Fox. That's what created this much more streamlined company that's laser-focused on live news and sports. So the company's business model is really built on these 5 key pillars. We're talking about Fox News Media, Fox Sports, Tubi, Fox Entertainment, and their chain of local TV stations. But these aren't just brand names. These are the strategic assets, the crown jewels, that anchor the company in the world of premium content and give it a powerful reach across the entire U.S. So what exactly is Fox's competitive DNA? I mean, in a media world that's completely dominated by the shift to streaming, understanding what the company sees as its key advantages is just absolutely crucial. Now, this is really interesting. The report highlights this key data point on demographics, and you can see why. The median viewer for the Fox network is 56 years old. Now look at the competition. ABC, CBS, NBC, they're all in their early to mid-60s. Why does this matter? Well, it gives Fox a younger audience, and for advertisers trying to reach that sub-60 demographic, it makes Fox a very, very attractive platform. And this brings us right to Fox's main defensive strategy, what they call the live content moat. Think of it like a castle's defense. For Fox, that defense is appointment viewing, stuff like NFL games and breaking news that you feel like you have to watch as it happens. It's how they set themselves apart from Netflix and all the other on-demand streamers. And this moat isn't just on TV. It's getting fortified on the digital side too, thanks to Tubi. I mean, get this. Tubi logged nearly 11 billion streaming hours this past fiscal year. That's a massive growth engine. Okay, now for the financial pulse. Let's take a look at the key vital signs from their financial statements for fiscal year 2025. For fiscal 2025, Fox brought in total revenues of $16 billion. That number got a pretty big cyclical boost from 2 things, the 2024 political ad market and having the broadcast of Super Bowl LIX. And all that strength at the top line flowed right down to the bottom. Net income jumped to $2.29 billion, which is a 48% increase from the year before. That's a pretty clear sign they're managing their costs effectively. But as any good analyst knows, cash is the true measure of a company's health. And here, Fox also delivered in a big way. They generated a really robust $3.32 billion in cash just from their operating activities. That shows some really strong operational health. Now, this revenue breakdown is critical. It shows a huge dependency on 2 traditional pillars. Affiliate fees make up about 47%, and advertising makes up another 42%. So while those income streams are strong right now, they're also directly exposed to some of the major industry risks that we're about to get into. And that brings us to the diagnosis. The 10-K is actually pretty candid about the major headwinds that Fox is facing, and these are the primary risks to its long-term health. Yeah, management doesn't really mince words here. This quote, pulled straight from the filing, gets right to the heart of the challenge. The way people consume media is changing, and technology is evolving so fast that it's threatening the very foundation of their traditional business model. So the report lays out this convergence of risks. We're talking about the continued decline of cable and satellite subscribers, the incredibly intense and expensive competition for sports rights, a volatile advertising market, and, on top of all that, major exposure to legal, regulatory, and cybersecurity threats. It's a lot to deal with at once. And that legal risk, it's not just some abstract concept. It carries a very real, very material cost. The nearly $800 million settlement with Dominion voting systems in the prior fiscal year is it's a stark reminder of the huge financial stakes involved in the company's legal battles. So, with that diagnosis, what's management's treatment plan? The 10K breaks down their approach across strategy, internal controls, and their corporate governance. On the cybersecurity front, the company has a formidable program based on the NIST framework. Think of it as a continuous cycle. They assess risks, they test their systems with penetration testing, they train all their employees, and they have a documented response plan. And this has direct oversight from the board's audit committee. Management's strategic response is really hitting on multiple fronts. They're investing in their people with initiatives for diversity and training. They're aggressively expanding the Tubi streaming service. They're even creating their own sports properties like the UFL. And they're signaling a move into direct-to-consumer with the announced launch of Fox One. And finally, on governance. You have to talk about the control structure. This is a defining feature of the company. The Murdoch Family Trust holds about 44% of the Class B voting stock. That gives them significant and often decisive influence over anything that requires a shareholder vote. That is a critical factor in any analysis of Fox. So, after going through the anatomy of the business, its financials, all the risks, and the strategies, what's our final verdict from this health checkup? The report really paints a picture of a financially strong company with iconic brands that is facing some undeniable industry-wide headwinds. So this brings us to the central question for any investor. Is Fox's live content moat a durable, long-lasting advantage that can actually withstand the streaming tide? Or is it a fortress that's been built on eroding ground? The answer to that question is likely going to define the company's value for years to come. And that wraps up our analysis of Fox Corporation's 2025 10K. For more deep dives just like this one, make sure to follow our official Wall Street Insights account. And please, don't forget to like and share. Thank you for joining us.